Aaliyah was just in her own lane. She had no competition. Nobody even like just let her be where she is. Because she was just different. She just had it going on. She knew exactly who she was and just I mean, I was so inspired by Aaliyah. I was so inspired by her. My entire Never Say Never album is like paying homage to her album that she did with Timbaland.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Keeks, and as you know, I am a huge 90s lover, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about my outfit, how the 90s inspired it, and of course, what specifics I love about the 90s. Definitely my favorite fashion icon in the 90s and period is Aaliyah. And the reason why is because she was so consistent in her fashion and her style. Even as she went from being the younger girl that was wearing the baggy pants and the crop tops and became more sultry and sexy, I still felt such a genuine and authentic evolution in her fashion and style. You know, she was that cool chick next door, you know, that girl that everybody in the neighborhood loved and adored. It was very real and natural, but at the same time, from every designer you could think of, they wanted to work with her. They wanted to create things for her because it was so authentic. So I love her for that, her consistency and her just individuality in that sense.
I know you hear the Aaliyah influences all throughout it, and that is on purpose. It's like all of my love for Aaliyah just poured out into that record. I'm obsessed with R&B music from that time period too, like the 90s and that music, and I'm really glad that people are taking a liking to Before I Do. It's a very special record, and I will say that me and my team, we felt like that for a very long time. This was one of the ones we're like, oh, I can't wait for people to hear Before I Do. So it's my baby. It is for sure.
I was just obviously different from the other girls. Aaliyah was the quiet, sweet one. She was always laughing at whatever I did, or I would say something and she'd be standing behind me like that. You said that out loud? Like, she was very shy. She always kept her shades on when we were out. And then Brandy always did everything the right way. She was taught to say things the right way, do things the right way. So it was great because all three of us were different. And I just think that Dallas saw something in me that other people maybe didn't understand.
Yeah. Great song, great meaning. Missy, I loved her work that she did with Aaliyah. I happen to be an Aaliyah fan. I love her voice, and I thought the songs she was singing were just perfect. I thought they were just great for the new breed of music that came in and took over,
You have a sample on here. Is it an interpolation? Is it a sample? I mean, regardless, you're paying tribute and homage to Aaliyah.
Yeah, one of my favorite artists of all times. I always say that the moment that I felt moved by music, it was that whole era, which is why I'm typically stuck in the late 90s to the early 2000s, obviously, with Motivation.
But the best era of music.
The best era of music. I mean, and the feeling. It's the feeling of the record, which is why I feel like out of everything that I've ever created, like, I'm like, no, this is the first. And it wasn't the obvious, like for me, I was even in my head, I'm like, no, it's supposed to be this up-tempo thing, like super high energy, motivation, but like times 10, but this record, literally, it was a unicorn. It landed in my lap. Like, I had a conversation with Stara, who is like a big sister to me. Like, I trust like her to no end. And she just... we had a conversation and she's like, bet, I got you. And we created it from the ground up.
When does Aaliyah and One in a Million come in? Is it after you have the lyrics? Are you crafting lyrics to that?
It's before.
It's before.
Yeah, so the production, like, drum pattern is there.
Got it. So then you build from that.
You build from that. And then everything else kind of just forms after it. Once the lyrics are there, it's produced out.
Is there pressure or even more nerves incorporating Aaliyah into this record at all?
That's always something I think about because obviously, like, I'm compared all the time. But I felt like the record was strong enough to be able to feel nostalgic, but also feel like I have ownership over it. Like, it's in there and it's like, okay, this makes me feel that same thing One in a Million made me feel, but
it's different.
It's original.
Yes.
I felt like it was original enough so I didn't like really stress too much over it.
And crucially, was the pilot capable of flying? It's emerged he wasn't licensed for that type of aircraft and was also under investigation for drugs offences.
It did come as a shock. It's a pretty hard one to swallow, especially the way that she went, because there's so many ways that you can die, you know, and that's a pretty tragic way to go, you know, wow.
You know, I remember you guys did the video with Aaliyah, you know, back in the day, and it just came out a couple of days ago that they're putting together like a posthumous album of unheard Aaliyah tracks and remix tracks as well.
Yeah.
You remember working with her?
Aaliyah was like, she was an angel for real. I never met a person in my life that has never gotten upset about anything.
Wow.
She was just so, she had to be angelic, like she had to be an angel, because she was just a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Beautiful inside out, all the way around. Everything about her was just beautiful. And we used to tour a lot because we were on the same label, so we were always together a lot. And she was just unexplainable. Like, me and Missy always sit down and we talk all the time. We like, how? Like, how the heck does this happen? But it's funny because Aaliyah, even though she was angelic, she liked to have fun.
Yeah.
She liked to party, you know what I mean? And we used to have a lot of fun with her. She reminds me, to me, a lot of Rihanna, but Rihanna is, of course, more wild than her and more like crazy and just, you know, out there. And I love Rihanna, but Rihanna seems to be a little angelic too to me.
Yeah.
Like when I met her, you know, she's just a sweet person, but, you know, she's a little bit more, you know, just wilder. But, you know, Aaliyah to me is just like an angel. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, I want to take us back when you guys did I Need You Tonight with Aaliyah.
Yeah, I was in a lot of her videos. A lot of people don't know, but I was in If Your Girl Only Knew.
You was in that video too?
I played the girl
That's
that
right,
if
okay.
they only knew.
My parents played a lot of like 90s R&B in the house, so I think I was naturally just kind of influenced by that type of music. I think being compared to Aaliyah is a huge compliment. I mean, of all people to be compared to, she's definitely one of like the classiest, makes awesome music, she has dope style. So from various different angles, I think she's a really, really great person to be compared to. So I'm just very thankful and blessed that people, you know, see that in me.